This is the High School Football America podcast for April the 11th, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability and customer service, plus different plans priced right for every coach's budget. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. All right, we're heading to Ocala, Florida. A great story that I was told by my good friend Joey Teichert at the TDI Razor, our good sponsor for a long, long time. And it's about this young man who is a high school football player at Belleview High School, and his name is Cade Gray. And we're going to talk football, but more importantly, what we're going to talk about is a little philanthropic venture that he has here during COVID-19, helping others. It is a marvelous story, and Cade Gray he has a 3D printer, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not going to go too deep on this, folks, because I'm going to mess up. I know my football. I don't know about 3D printing, but anyway, Cade has a 3D printer, and he has been making N95 mask strap holders that everybody knows how important the N95 masks are. And Cade's on the line right now to tell us what he's doing, because he's making these holders that makes it easier for the people that are wearing these masks around the clock in some cases to so they're not hurting their ears. And we'll get into some detail with Cade about that. Welcome to the show, Cade.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so let's just dive into this. You're on hiatus. You're still doing your homeschooling. I'm sure you're still working out. You're a 3-sport athlete there at Bellevue, and all of a sudden you're helping others. Tell me a little bit, and then the listeners around the nation, exactly what it is you're making, and then we'll kind of go from there.
So what I'm making is a strap to hold the N95 masks to keep them off their ears. So most of the nurses do 12-hour shifts now because of COVID-19. And after a while, the straps start to irritate their ears. And so it keeps that elastic strap off of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. We're going to find out, what gave you the idea. But we're going to take a step back because, as I said at the start here, I heard of a 3D printer. I didn't understand what it did. So explain to the listeners around the nation what a 3D printer actually is and does and is capable of doing.
Unlike a conventional printer, it takes a spool of filament and it feeds it through a hot extruder, thus melting the plastic and laying it on a heated bed to eventually make a 3D item.
That is amazing. We're talking with Cade Gray, football player at Bellevue High School, but right now he's helping people around the country. This is a philanthropic venture. He is not charging anyone, and I know when I spoke to your dad, Jason, you guys are sending him all over the country. So now that we've kind of put it in focus as to what you're making and how you're making it, the question is, how did this idea come about? Did you have a friend that told you this was needed? I mean, where did the idea come from?
So the idea came from this Facebook post out of Canada. This kid around my age was printing them, and we thought we'd bring it down here.
That's really wonderful. And I, you mentioned it in your very first answer. It becomes very, very uncomfortable. I would assume that these straps for the mask are probably in some way can cut into the ear. Is that what's happening here, causing like sores and all that?
Yes, sir. So yesterday I went to the post office to meet some guy and deliver some of the strap masks, and he was telling me every night he has to put Neosporin on his wife's ears to like heal them.
Wow, that is amazing. We're talking with Cade Gray, a football player at Bellevue. We're going to talk a little football here in just a second, folks, but this story is just so amazing to me that, a young man is doing what he's doing to help during COVID-19. I mean, I guess here's a good question. How does it make you feel that you're helping, like that gentleman you just talked about? You're helping his wife.
It's especially awesome when I get pictures back from the nurses wearing them in the hospitals and knowing that I made that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, the other thing that's amazing that I was told and I read about on your dad's LinkedIn post that, this isn't something that you had to just design. Like you had a little bit of a running start. And I think that's the thing that's great. There's a lot of free stuff out there. Like when I built my website, there's free code out there that you can use. What is it that you use to figure out how to make this strap holder?
So I got a file off of a website called Thingiverse, and you just download the file, you plug it into the 3D printer, and you just print away.
And you mentioned, or I should have mentioned that you had the printer, the 3D printer, sitting there in the closet. I guess you were using it for something else. So when did it dawn on you that you were going to be able to use this thing that was collecting dust? I guess is the way your dad described it to help people.
Yeah, so I got it about 3 years ago when the whole fidget spinner craze was around,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't really have any other use for it. I mean, like small hobby projects here and there. But once I saw this kid making them up in Canada, I figured it'd be a pretty good idea to take it off the shelf and start using it again.
Yeah, that's for sure. We're going to have some video, folks, of Cade and seeing, instead of just the words of what a 3D printer is, you're going to actually see a little snippet here. You can look on our page at highschoolfootballamerica.com. So how many of these can you make? I mean, how long does it take you to make one, for example? Let's start there. And then how many have you made, and what's your overall goal?
So for one, it takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but for my printer, I can fit 4 per cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And to make 4, it takes about an hour and 15 minutes.
Well, that's not too bad. And you're going to make these as long as is necessary, I would think. And we're going to put up your Facebook page also to let people know how they can reach out to you. But so far, you said you got a spreadsheet there. How far away have you sent it from there in Ocala? I know you've done some stuff locally, obviously. But what's that gigantic map of the United States look like at this point for you?
So right now we sent, I think, a dozen out to California, and I think maybe a half a dozen up to Boston.
Wow, and you're doing this while all homeschooling at this point. Let's switch up here a little bit from making strap holders and helping the medical people around the country. What's it like to not have a classroom to go to at Bellevue right now? You handling it pretty well, and what are you doing?
So, for my classrooms, most all my teachers use Google Classroom, so that's made it pretty easy. Mm-hmm. But I think I like it. Maybe not more because of the social aspect, but I do. I like staying home. I just don't like being confined. Like if I could go out and hang out, that'd be a lot better. But due to the circumstances, you cannot.
Yeah, you and everybody else. It's a time to protect everybody. Everybody. Cade Gray is on the line. He's a junior at Bellevue High School. He's a football player there. We're going to talk a little football. I also know that you're a pole vaulter. You're on the track team there. You also play volleyball. So right now, I'm assuming, I should have asked you this before, but I'm assuming that your track season in Florida is here in the spring. So you're not able to do that. That's got to be tough for you, I would think.
Yes, sir. So this year, the likelihood of me going to states was pretty high, and I was really, really hoping I was going to get to do that this year. But it looks like that's been canceled as well. So that really stinks. But It is what it is. You can't really do anything about it.
Well, and I'm sure you have some friends there that are seniors that are going to miss their final opportunity unless they're going on to college. I mean, how do you feel about some of the seniors at your school and around the country for that matter? It's got to be real tough. I know you still have another year to go, so you hopefully we'll be cleaned up here by the football season. But if we're not, there's some seniors out there that are going to miss that last moment, including probably their graduation. What do you think about that?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I didn't expect it to get to where it is now, but I don't know. It's just insane. I honestly did not think it was going to get this bad. But
yeah. Well, surreal is probably the best word at this point. Cade Gray is on the line. We're switching into sports here as we wrap the interview up here. But folks, please go to his Facebook page. You'll see it in the story at highschoolfootballamerica.com and check out how you can find out exactly what he's doing and if there's a need out there for these strap holders that really help the medical people out there there. The people wearing the N95 masks, it's a unique plastic strap holder. He's making it with a 3D printer. He's doing it for free, getting them out there. And basically what it does is those straps, when you wear them for, half a day, when you do a 12-hour shift, it cuts into the ears. I mean, just imagine wearing something like that for a half a day, and you can imagine what it is. I know when I wear my glasses after for a while, I'm like, oh, that's annoying. So anyway, that's why I put my contacts in. But anyway, that's what you need to check out. But let's go to football now. Certainly, we're all hoping that there's a 2020 season. What are you guys doing? I'm sure the coaches have sent you some things to do away, but what are you doing personally to get yourself ready for football in 2020?
So through this break, I've set a goal to do 100 push-ups a day, along with the workout my coach has sent us.
And how easy is it for you to work out at home? I mean, certainly it sounds like you've got a lot of inside of you that keeps you motivated. But I mean, is there a little bit of a motivation issue there when you don't have your teammates around you, where you I still got to do these 100 push-ups?
Not really. The only thing that's lacking a little bit is like the heavier weight. So like deadlift and stuff like that. But I went on a 2-mile run the other day.
Well, that's good to keep yourself in shape there, keep that wind up. We're talking with Cade Gray at Belleview High School, and let's kind of wrap up by going back to the 3D printer and what you're doing with these masks. What's the message that you'd like to tell some other people out there that may be listening to this, that they can do something as well? Because I think a lot of people think, well, what can I do? You can certainly you can volunteer, you can do many things. You can just call people and make sure that they're healthy and that their mental outlook is being kept up and all that. But what would you say to people out there like yourself, your age, that may be listening to this and say, here's what you can do to help during COVID-19?
So if anybody has a 3D printer, feel free to print them yourself. If you can put the link to what I used. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's anything helps, honestly.
Yeah. Get involved is what you're saying. Well, Cade, congratulations on being so forward thinking on this, and we all hope that this is done sooner than later. But in the meantime, kudos to you for doing what you're doing for people selflessly, and it's just wonderful. And I'm just so proud to spread your word here a little bit to the nation, because you need to be applauded. I know you're not doing it for that, but at the end of the day, it brings a big smile to my face when people say, well, that younger generation, well, here's my answer to it. Look at what this younger generation young man is doing. So congratulations, and keep up the great work.
Thank you.
The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability and customer service, plus different plans priced right for every coach's budget. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. You've been listening to the High School Football America podcast. I'm Jeff Fisher.